All right, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to talk about Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter and the fact that Adrein Broner says that Terence Crawford should demolish Shawn Porter and make it an easy fight. And that fight has a purse bid coming up. So it's one of the really exciting fights that we're actually going to get to see. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So before I get into the meat of the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and also hit the like button, hit the share button. It goes a long way towards helping the channel grow. In this video, we're going to talk about the biggest fight, one of the biggest fights coming up in the rest of the year, and the thoughts that Adrein Broner had on this fight not being as close a fight as, you know, some people think. Terence Crawford has been ordered to fight Shawn Porter by the WBO, and as a result, these guys most likely is going to fight. Shawn Porter came out and said that he knows the fight is going to happen. So, you know, I'm all 100% on board with this fight happening. And I thought when I originally, you know, thought about this fight that this is something that is, you know, is going to be a very, very tough fight for Terence Crawford. It's going to be something where he's going to get pushed to the edge. He's going to really have to figure out some things that he may not have had to figure out in a boxing ring before, like a guy that has more experience than he does, somebody that's still in the prime of his career like he is, somebody that has a championship pedigree that like he does. You know, Shawn Porter just has all the makings to give Terence Crawford a lot of problems in this boxing match. However, Adrein Broner says that he believes that Terence Crawford could actually make this fight a very easy fight or easy work of Shawn Porter. Now, a little bit of that coming from Adrein Broner has to do with the fact that Adrein Broner is probably carrying, you know, a little bit of sour grapes from Shawn Porter having beaten him. But, you know, Adrein Broner was able to do something that Errol Spence Jr. was able to do subsequently, which is knock down Shawn Porter. Really nice left hook, I believe, is what took him down, man. However, you know, he says that he believes that there's ways that Terence Crawford can make this an easy fight. I have to believe that what he's referring to is really kind of controlling the distance on Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter is somebody that typically really does like to, you know, come forward. He likes to bum rush you. He's got to be considered one of the dirtiest and roughest fighters in all of boxing. He's got a really great personality outside the ring, a big smile, you know, just a really charming type of guy when he's talking to people. Very, very intelligent. If you ever have an opportunity to listen to him on the Porterweight podcast, very insightful, very, very bright guy. But at the same time, when he's in the ring, it is nothing but I used to watch his fights and think to myself, man, this guy could get a point deducted every 30 seconds, man. And it used to be just like these really, really ugly fights that he would get into. Recently, however, he's changed to be able to fight more on the outside, use his athleticism, and, you know, and move. But against Terence Crawford, the way that Terence Crawford, I assume that this is what Adrein Broner is talking to, that, you know, Terence Crawford has the ability to switch from orthodox to southpaw. So for him to keep and make Shawn Porter fight him in an orthodox, you know, in a southpaw stance, being more defensive, try to pick Shawn Porter off as he comes in, because, you know, Terence Crawford is one of these guys that, you know, takes a couple rounds to figure you out. He's very reactive, right, to what the other guy is doing, and he's really trying to, I wouldn't say that he's completely a pot shotter, but by and large, you know, he does a lot of pot shotting where he sets people up and he kind of gets them in this rhythm, and once he recognizes his rhythm, he then calculates what he needs to do to take advantage of that rhythm, and then there you go, right? So in order to do that with Shawn Porter, the only way you can do that is if you have some space between the two of you in order to dictate what his rhythm is, and try to force Shawn Porter to fight on the outside, where Terence Crawford has the length advantage, and he has I wouldn't necessarily say he's got the boxing advantage, right? Because I think Shawn Porter is a very, very skilled fighter, but You know, that's the only way that I think he could make it an easy fight, and then take advantage of the fact that, you know, Shawn Porter has shown a susceptibility to getting knocked down. Like I said, he was knocked down with the Errol Spence Jr. fight. He was knocked down with the Adrein Broner fight. And as far as like one punch guys, you know, neither one of Adrein Broner nor Errol Spence Jr. really is somebody that knocks people out, you know, with one punch, where Terence Crawford, on the other hand, has really shown that he has the ability to knock people senseless with one shot. He did it against Jose Benavidez. It looked like the fight was going the distance. It was, you know, it wasn't a competitive fight, but it was kind of like, you know, a nip and tuck fight. Neither fighter really doing a lot of things. I think Jose Benavidez was kind of trying to survive, but then I think it might have even been in the 12th round. It was 11th round at the earliest, 12th round, I do believe. He timed him with an uppercut and knocked him out. Same thing goes for Same thing went for Igis Kalvanakis, and the way that he set him up for that uppercut after having been hurt earlier in the fight. You know, he's the type of guy that can set those things up. So if he's able to take advantage of Terence Crawford's, of Shawn Porter's chin, then I could see what Adrein Broner is talking about. But the problem with that is that Shawn Porter is just not an easy fight for anybody. And you can look at the top of the welterweight division, and Shawn Porter has pretty much fought all of them. And like, if you look at Keith Thurman did a very good job keeping Shawn Porter on the outside for the majority of the fight, but then Shawn Porter came on in the second half. Keith Thurman won that fight, but it was anything but a dominating performance, and some people thought that the fight could have went either way. Same thing with Danny Garcia. Shawn Porter, Shawn Porter was a very, very tough fight for Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia is definitely one of the top 147 pounders. You have Ugas. Ugas was, you know, some people think that Ugas won and beat Shawn Porter, but you can just see that Shawn Porter is always right there making it a difficult fight. If he has to fight on the outside, he'll fight on the outside and box with you. If he has to make it ugly and grind with you, he'll make it ugly and grind with you. In fact, he's one of these guys that almost always fights almost to the exact level of the competition. There was a fight that is kind of mixed in here, which was the Adrian Granados fight. That was a fight where I think Shawn Porter might have been hurt, but at the same time, it's like, you know, he wasn't able to really separate himself from Adrian Granados in that fight. So Shawn Porter is somebody that's always going to be in the fight, that is hard to separate yourself from, but it's also hard for him to separate himself from you. So I don't agree with what Adrein Broner is saying as far as it's going to be some demolish. No way I don't think there's any way that Terence Crawford is going to run through Shawn Porter. And I do give the advantage to Shawn Porter in the fight. I give the advantage to Terence Crawford in the fight. I'm just really happy that the fight is taking place and that we're going to see some real action, some more action in the welterweight division, which is really the division that has been giving us the largest number of the really good fights, and this is one of them. So anyway, that's my take on the scenario. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.